Before we begin, please subscribe and yeah, comment down below what kind of things we can do. So, what we can do on the next live stream, by the way. So, without too much yapping, let's get to the video. Quick reaction video, since I was actually planning on doing that chat and I really wanted to, but alright, let's go with, you know what, let's go with License, boys. We just want to, you know, just want to see how License does it, bro. Anyway, let me just quickly check some and just update my stream. Hope everything is working fine. Let me just check Stream Manager. Alright, we are live. That is stream info. Title, no. Reacting to anything chat tells me to. You know what? We're gonna do that type of reaction chat. Don't know why, but I'm just down for it. Alright. Here we go, chat. We are actually gonna react to License. Let me just mute my stuff over here so we can get a good video as well, because I'm trying to edit it stuff. So yeah, let's mute and we're gonna talk in between.
Otvorite demo račun za trgovanje. Jednostavno I brzo.
Alright, chat. We're gonna start with, hold up. We're gonna go and just, you know what, just watch, you know, just kind of watch it and see what's gonna happen. Let's go. By the way, I love the BMW, bro. The 540, dude, it's crazy. I think it's a 5 Series, maybe it's a 3 Series. They all kind of look in the same, so I don't know. Let's see. Okay, clean. So far, nothing crazy. Oh, okay. Alright. Thankfully, copyright stuff, it's not gonna do too much, so that's good. By the way, chat, let me just wear my stuff over here, beautiful, and let me just turn off the music, because we don't need two things. Hold up, beautiful. What the fuck? Wait. What the fuck was that? Hold up, chat. What the fuck? Two people literally just walking on a damn highway. Oh god, I almost fell. Two people actually walking on the fucking highway. Bro, that's actually crazy, bro. What the fuck? People are actually walking on the damn highway. That's crazy. What the fuck? God damn, this tastes good. Alright. Damn, that's a good cut. Let's go. Come on. Cut another one. Come on. Oh, he's taking it shorter. It's good. And nope. Yeah, he had to cut that one. Yeah, he had to cut that one, bro. Oh, and this guy's swimming with him, I guess. That's where he's trying or something. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. Oh, okay. Alright, hold up, chat. Before we continue this stuff, I just want to say I do not condone anything of this type of driving. Drive safe. Be safe on the highway. Do not do this. This is dangerous. And do not be like those two people who are literally walking on the damn highway. That's actually dangerous. Yes, you can, bro. No, it's a trash song. I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, you can suggest it. It's fine. I'm gonna read it real quick. You can suggest it. How does the what? How the fuck does the VTuber thing work? Honestly, I use Prism because I don't have a PC at the moment. So I kind of use the Prism app to kind of broadcast the VTuber model. This is the free model. I do not have time to work on my own for the moment, so I kind of so I'm gonna use the free model. But yeah, it's the Prism app, hence the icon over here. But pretty much, yeah, it's kind of a way of working as the first VTuber here. So yeah, it's kind of my first rodeo out here. So yeah. But yeah, welcome to the stream. Please follow. I will really appreciate it. I cannot see right now the follower account because I don't have it listed over here, but it's fine. I'm gonna probably put it like just next to somewhere. But pretty much I'm doing a reaction over here on Snow. 5. Oh no, actually a license. I'm sorry. I already did as soon as I joined. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Do I send that in link in chat? I would like it if you send the title, cause it's kind of difficult to copy the link. So I would really appreciate if you just send the title, but please do not say anything inappropriate, because I do not do that, especially because on Twitch I'm gonna get banned as quickly as possible. So yeah, it's like I do not appreciate any inappropriate stuff. So yeah, just a hands up warning. Great. White shark in Sydney Harbor. Alright. Let me be honest with you. Yeah, sure. Great white shark in Sydney. Let me just put on this real quick so I can type that. Actually, you know what? Wait. You know what? I'm gonna type that after we watch this, and then Twitch likes girls with tits out, and Twitch bans people that are men. Exactly, bro. Yeah, it's wild though. It's wild. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of wild. It's actually crazy how people get banned for stupid things while girls over here are just kind of, boom, I'm gonna whip my tits out. Why not? It's kind of crazy though. I'm gonna be honest. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, you're kind of right though. I mean, I can get banned while literal girls over there on that side just usually could show literally their tits out. Like, that's crazy. Bro, I got permanently banned. How? What did you do? What did you do? My whole account doesn't even pop up. Damn, that's actually crazy. Because I mean, here I see it perfectly fine on chat, but why did you get banned? I'm wondering. Oh, that was a good one. That was a good call right there. Oh, close, close, but it's not too crazy. Bro, that's actually crazy. Bro, it won't let me say it. Oh, that's fine though. That's fine. Bro, that's They banned me for leaking IP, bruh, which I didn't. Dude, that is actually BS, bruh. That is actually bullshit. Imagine, like, it's just people that are being assholes, in my opinion. They're kind of in general assholes and just kind of ban people for no reason. Next later they get me swatted by, bruh, for that would be funny as hell. I used to watch a YouTuber who kind of reacted to swatting streamers. That was actually crazy though, because in my opinion, that is a good stop right there. I'm hitting that ass, bruh, for real though. Just for being rude. That is crazy. That is crazy though. I mean, sometimes Twitch is sometimes Twitch is just being unreasonable. That's for sure. It's being it's just banning people for unnecessary stuff. Here's the thing. I have one story in mind that is kind of stupid. He told me, hold up. He told me to, hey yo, hey yo. That is, dude. That is literal messed up, bruh. That is messed up. But here's the thing that a coincidence that happened to me actually, as and a bunch of other. Yeah, I understand, bro. I mean, so he went to jail. Wow, that is actually that is actually messed up. But anyways, as I was trying to explain here, I did a music video and it was literally like I think 2 years ago, and I posted it as a official audio first on my channel, which I deleted afterwards because I wanted to record a full-on music video. I did it, and apparently YouTube didn't like it, and they instantly took it down for no apparent reason. And over here, people are literally not even copyright. They're literally copying, or not, straight up stealing the music for a song and just adding it to their video. Yeah, that's totally fine. That's no copyright issues, nothing. Well, I worked on that on that music for on my music for a good amount of time, honestly. It's it's stupid how people usually see see that as an opportunity to kind of just YouTube is just kind of being an ass at the moment because here's the thing. I can get banned for literally doing my own work while other people steal, copy other videos and nothing. They're just straight up fine. That's crazy, in my opinion. But it's fine. I mean, I understand. So it's like, it doesn't matter as much. Okay, this is gonna be. Oh, that is a good cut. That is a good cut. Ah, it's fine, bro. I mean, I'm planning on as of course, I'm planning on re-uploading it on another channel that we create. But yeah, I mean, it kind of happens though. These kind of people usually crash. Let me just skip this guy, bro. This is annoying. YouTube also being a shit with ads, but it's fine. Yeah, these kind of people here, like license, they kind of they're actually professionals in their shit, but sometimes they do actually crash due to honestly just surprise in general. Because imagine you change lanes and you don't even see who's behind you, and you see him just cutting up behind you and just hits you. Yeah, that's. But also, the cops can do anything about it because honestly, they know what they're doing, but they just can't do anything about it because they are just that great of a driver. Honestly, in my opinion, yes, this is stupid what you do, but here's the thing. In my opinion, it's a little bit of a stupid idea because yeah, swimming, aka cutting through traffic, is a very dangerous game, especially because there's actual people who are going to pick up their kids or going from work or going into work or just going home from work. It's kind of crazy how some of these people do actually end up dead and dead because of it. You heard of? No, actually, I didn't. The lake? No, I didn't actually. I actually didn't. So, hold up. What was that thing that you wanted me to watch real quick? Was it the White Sydney Shark? If I'm thinking, they can go 60 feet. Hold up. So, you want me to watch white, the great white? Okay, okay. Let me just type that real quick. Hold up. Give me a minute. So, the white great Sydney. Okay, found it. Hold up. Alright, I think I typed that right, but tell me which one of them, because I am not like, I'm not sure which it is. There's a lot of videos. The one made by Terry. Let me find it. This one, right here? The Terry Tufferson? I hope I'm saying right. Damn, it has 4.4 million views. Okay, I'm gonna watch that real quick. Yep, of course. What do we expect, Timu? Let's actually watch this. I'm kind of interested to see what the hell this is. Tell me if you, tell me what would you do if that was you. I'm currently wondering what is gonna go on, cause Tomo. Yes.
Alright, ready?
Oh God, that is. Yeah, I am literally not a swimmer, not a good swimmer as well, so I wouldn't do that. But what's so okay? Okay, that is holy shit. Hey yo. Yeah, I would probably be dead at that point. Oh my goodness. Let's hope there is no. Let's hope he will not actually eat him alive or something, because that would be. Cheap viewers on streambook.com space. Bro is dipping. Bro be dipping. What? Hold up. Let's give me a moment first. I'm okay. That was wow. That was. I am actually, in general, surprised he actually did not get eaten by that shark. How, in my opinion, I would be eaten immediately because one, I do not know how to swim very well. Two, I'm not. I'm gonna be honest. I'm straight up scared of sharks. I mean, who wouldn't be honestly? But honestly, also I'm kind of scared to drown. So yeah, it is what it is. You wanted me to search up something else? Hold up. Can you type me again? Cause this stuff I did have to work on it a little bit. But god damn, that was actually epic in my opinion. That was hella epic. Dude, we should actually do, you know what? We already uploaded a new video. I think, but first of all, let me fix up something real quick. Cause I need to read chat better, cause this isn't helping. Hold up. Bro be dipping. Cheap viewers on the streamboo.com, remove the space. Okay. Let me type that real quick. What are 3 weeks? You know what, I'm just gonna call it 3 because I cannot pronounce your name. I'm so sorry, but hey, thank you for the follow, by the way, and thank you for the follow, Suncare JX. Really appreciate it. But hold up, you wanted me to search this one? Hold up. Streamboo. Alright. Let me just quickly open a tab and search that up real quick. Of course, incognito. Alright. So, streamboo.com. Streamboo.com. Okay, I have to sign up though, but yeah, I'm sorry I cannot review that because I need to sign up, and at the moment I do not have that privilege, so we're gonna have to skip that. But if you have anything else to suggest, I would really appreciate it. So, let's actually, you know what? No, chat. Let's quickly suggest me anything else that, thankfully, I don't have to sign up or pay for. Because at the moment, I cannot do that. And until then, let's watch Dank Pods. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but he's actually funny as hell. So let's go for it. Let's go for it, chat.
Guys, we didn't know sweet glorious beans. I loved the idea of these until they were mostly lies. What got me excited about these Beanie Babies was that they're open backs, right? They don't block noise out of your ears. But then they were touting that they have noise cancelling, which is wild because it's kind of like having earmuffs with holes in it. You know, sound is air pressure. If air can get in, the noise can get in. If they're not sealing out the noise will get in. And lo and behold, the noise gets in. I didn't even know the noise cancelling was on. I've seen comments of people saying like, oh, it's got noise cancelling, it worked for me. I don't agree. It turned air conditioners from to, and also they're just crazy price. They were like over $300 here in Hollis. And then the price came crashing down immediately. And at that point, I didn't have an issue with them. Why am I talking about the beans? Well, they were an original idea. So it didn't really work for me. But I appreciate the effort, I really do. Not like this crap. This is some of the most unashamed.
Oh my god, what the hell is
We're happy
this?
looking like we're in second
These
place.
are the new Samsung buds?
Let's just follow along and earn money too. These are the Apple AirPods. These could be the Smaznug Airbuds. I don't even care what these things are called. Look at this, right? You catch
Oh
them
my
at their
god,
real
that's a
angle,
straight up
and
copy.
they're just straight up clones. Straight up.
Wow.
He's made it sharp edged and kind of triangular. That makes it totally different. And you got a dingus light in it, which personally I don't like. I don't like headphones that light up. My Focal Bathies did it on the plane because I didn't want to install the app to stop it, like just lighting up this airplane with my selfish earbuds. But then some people like it, so potato,
True.
tomato. And then you see Samsung's competing headphones for regular AirPods and just boom, it's just a clone
Bruh,
straight up.
for
Like
real.
the Pro to the regular, they don't care anymore. Or how they like avoid the case being
Okay, but let's be honest, Chet. Let's be honest. Samsung is cooking. I'm gonna be honest. Samsung is kind of cooking. I'm using my Samsung. I'm using which right now a Samsung S22, which is actually not bad in my opinion. And of course, my stream thingy crashed. So let me just. All right, we fixed that. Let me just rotate my stuff over here. But yes, um, I'm kind of using right now a S22 Ultra. S22 Ultra. I mean S22, not Ultra. But AS22 5G, and honestly, so far, it's almost been a year since I'm using this. I wish I got a new one February, so it's kind of almost a year now. But regardless, yeah. So far, it's treating me amazingly well. Honestly, I have so many things in this, and I have like a lot of music, I have a lot of pictures and stuff. But honestly, this thing is treating me pretty nicely, actually. In my opinion, Samsung takes the cake. And honestly, here's the thing: I do not like iPhones because of one particular reason. They do not have so much supportive things like Android phones. Android phones, like Samsung has a lot of supported things. For example, it has also Samsung DeX, which means you can literally connect it to through any type of Samsung device. You can literally connect your phone to a tablet. Just type from your phone to your tablet. You can literally switch that through your to a Samsung laptop, and then so on and so forth. But let's keep on watching them. But I'm yapping way too much.
just an absolute knockoff, despite just the shape and the light being so iconic. Mate, just give it a clear dome. There, that's different. They did make the bottom flat, which I like. What I don't like is how these get put away. Oh, wait, that's the AirPod.
Oh my god.
That wasn't intentional. That wasn't intentional. I don't have much positive stuff to say about Apple either. So these aren't even the newest ones, right? These are my thrashed old whatever gen crappy lightning ones, right? Because I don't want another set. When these die, my AirPod dream dies with them. I'm done, right? I'm just using them until they're gone, and they're still hanging in. But I'm very adjusted to just putting them in and out and being done. You notice when you take them out, that's how they go into your ear, like that, yeah? Samsungs are backwards. You pull them out, what? And that, I'm sure
Exactly.
all of that is just to make sure they weren't knocking off the case too hard. I can see why they are knocking off the case, because these just disappear in the pockets. It's why I use them. They're a better sounding earbuds, but it's about convenience above all.
No, they're not better sounding earbuds. I'm being honest. There's better sounding earbuds. Just because they're Apple branded doesn't mean they sound good. I'm gonna be honest. Just spitting facts, honestly.
Else. You know, Sony's ones, they sound great. This case sucks in the pocket. And look at this. That's the bit that goes in your ear, yeah, with these Sonys. Look at all this weight that wants to lean outwards. You know, it's not great. Whereas with the stems, all the weight's pointing downwards. It's far more comfortable. It actually wants to sit and rest in. Once definitely seems it's the best way to do it, since everybody's given up. Everyone's just making
Oh my god.
AirPod knockoffs because it's just... People are tired of attempting to compete. Let's just line up. And Skull Candy, really, Smokin' Buds. Smokin' Buds. And JB Hi-Fi 69.
Damn.
Nice. Smokin' Buds.
Nice. I'm gonna be
Green,
honest.
green.
That's a
I
number
reckon I could
that's
do a
like
big
that I
AirPod
should say
clone
nice from.
special with the amount of headphones that are for sale right now that are just clones of AirPods. And you can see why. Because if you just make AirPods its own company, right? Separated
just
from
checking my
Apple,
screen. Yep, it's
stands
off.
on its
Good.
own, it'd be bigger than Sony. Just AirPods. So you see that everyone's just giving up. But I just kind of wish they just wouldn't bother. And yeah, these are lifestyle devices now. You know, so they got microphones and noise cancelling and whatnot. And so yeah, noise cancelling, you know, it's conventionally good, right? If you've never tried like noise cancelling before, you're going to put them in and go, oh wow, that's super neat, right? It's up to that level of decent. They're just not as good as these. And these are the old ones. My major test that I do is I go and play the drums. And usually what happens is the hi-hats, they cut in and they make them go and literally static and short out sounding. And these did it way sooner with way more violence, and it's upsetting. I didn't like it. So yeah, conventionally good. In more extreme cases, not so good. And mate, we gotta listen to the microphones.
So it's one time, mate, I was doing some like really deep thinking, and I was thinking about it, and it's like, mate, when was the last time the croissant got like a massive overhaul, mate? I think the croissant's overdue for a revolution, and I think that's where a lot of unrest is coming from, mate. Is that people just kind of feel it, that like, mate, the croissant. It's just got to do something more, you know? Because, mate, I feel like I'm on the
Hold on, let me just switch to the phone.
But at the moment, mate, I decided to withdraw my entire life savings, all of it, mate, and my retirement plan. So I took that $5.20, mate, down to the local Foodland, and like I bought all the croissants, mate, and then like walking back. So I don't have anywhere to live. Can I stay with you? No, I'll ask you later, mate. But I just start going, you know, and like before long, I'd actually eaten all of them, mate. And so like I can't do my research, and I don't have any more money. And back to that first question, like, can I stay at yours for a few years?
Oh, so like, don't panic, mate. Like, I figured out all my issues and like everything's worked out. I took all the croissants from the Foodland. Oh, the guilt is starting to really set in, mate. I mean, they only had 2 left. And actually, like, the nice lady there said I could just have them because she could see that I was staring at them for at least 8 hours. I mean, they've been trying to close for at least 50 minutes. And so, but, like, I might have pushed them over and just ran out all the same. And then, like, my pants came down as well because I had to eat my belt one time, mate. And, oh, the police are here. Oh, actually, that's good. I'm freezing, mate.
The AirPods aren't that... Oh, oi, the AirPods aren't that good, hey? You hear that? iPhone SE and some old dinglebuds down a lightning thing, right? Boom. It actually sounds really good. That's the power of a cable. It's not going anywhere. But boy, you want to talk about a smell factory. These Smasnog earbuds are just not... they're not good. They're just not that good. I mean, hey, come on. It can bring it home on sound, right? Bring it home. And they sound conventionally good. They sound good. I need to make sure I don't follow down the route of, like, you know, a lot of people who get into the hardcore of a hobby or a passion, whatever. I have a lot of really crazy headphones at my disposal. And just this frustrating thing that us humans do is that we just get used to stuff, whether for good or bad. And I've got really, really spoiled ears. And so I got to draw a line and say that if I can hear everything I want from the music, nothing's missing, you know, albeit it might be loud or quite right. That's conventionally good. I got vintage headphones where you genuinely can't hear anything. But they got the typical, you know, extra bass thing. They still sound conventionally good, but, you know, I'm into music history. I'm doing drum history stuff and whatnot. And there's just a lot of music that doesn't have a lot of bass in it. It's just how it is. Go and listen to stuff from the 80s and 70s. You won't hear huge controlled sub bass. You'll hear fleeting moments of it. Not like how it is today, where basically sub bass dictates the entire harmony of a song. And look, it sounds good, but then it can sound... I mean, it's my spoiled ears. I've got music degrees, right? I'm not the target market, but it can just sound a little silly. You know, I'm listening to this 1970s song that just has this huge kick just wailing in. It's just not how it is. And I guess I find it frustrating because bass is so easy to add. It's just, right, if you have, like, really balanced to start with, then you just kiss up the bass if you want it, and I'll just give it to you. But if you're stuck from it as standard, I find it's hard to get rid of because, you know, it kind of muddies up some stuff. My gosh, they're expensive, right? You know, I buy stuff brick and mortar style, right? I'm sick of online shopping. And, you know, a bit of a complaint here. This is the crappiest cable I've handled in some time. Look, it feels horrible. Look, it, like, almost holds its shape. It's so stiff. Cheers, Smasnog. Loving your earbuds, you know, $400.
So I'm not on socials, sorry about that. You know, I'm just not really into it. But I was having a look, and it turns out they haven't been very reliable for people. Like, someone here's got one with a dead light. Someone else with the same issue. Hairline fractures. And then you scroll down, and yeah, someone else has them too. Issues with, like, imbalance with the earbuds. That, you know, they're not charging properly. And someone saying that they were talking on the microphone with them, and people were saying that it sounded terrible. Well, yeah. Yeah. I actually forgot to mention when I was trying to get the voice recording while I was wearing the Samsung buds, that the noise cancelling was freaking out, cutting in and out in between, like, it didn't know whether to stay on or off, like, It was actually horrible. And you probably noticed that I haven't done any... Oh, wait, why is this in German? It doesn't matter. You're probably wondering why I didn't do any of the app stuff or nothing. I'm so sick of apps. I've been smelling apps for 16 years now. They stink now. They used to be really good. They stink now. So I'm so sorry for letting you down in that regard and whatnot. Oi, they're expensive headphones that sound cromulent and fit great because they're completely knocking off a design that works.
$400. Just, gosh, that microphone sucked. But the case does stand, and it kind of looks like one of those deep sea fish where you can see through its skull dome into its inner workings. You know, I'm gonna have to go shopping and find all the like big name clones of AirPods. You know, again, like Samsung making AirPod clones. It seems that this is just how it's gonna be. We reminisce for those beanie days. Well, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Oi, thanks to these stinky names right here. Thank you so much for supporting me.
Alright, chat. It's crazy, bro, because honestly, Samsung is a good app, a good company and stuff, but sometimes they do kind of suck, so that's another reason why I kind of... You know what? Still better than Apple. I'm just gonna be saying it straight up. Bro, I don't know what to watch anymore, bro. It's kinda crazy. It's kinda crazy on what I should watch, chat. You guys can suggest. But yeah, let's go. Why not? Let's watch Doug DeMiro. Why not? Why not? Why not, brother? Of course, ads.
This is a 1969 Lamborghini Miura S, and it's
Nice. A 1969.
one of the greatest performance cars of all
time. This is the world's first true supercar with a mid-mounted V12 and absolutely insane styling. And it's become an icon, a legend, one of the all-time great performance cars. And some versions of the Miura have sold for more than $4 million. And today, I'm gonna review the Miura. Before I get started, be sure to check out a cool enthusiast car from the modern era, the 1980s and up. Cars and Bids is the place to do it, with daily auctions and great selection at carsandbids.com. So, let's talk Miura. Back in the Miura's era, the 1960s, nothing had ever really been tried before with a mid-engine design, which is now commonplace in supercars. Now, some race cars had offered a mid-engine design, but it had never really been used before in a road car. But the Miura changed all that with its mid-mounted V12 sitting directly behind the passenger compartment and making about 350, 375 horsepower.
Okay, the horsepower is pretty much, hold up, the horsepower is pretty much respectful, that's for sure. 300 to 300 and some horsepower is kind of respectful, honestly. And look, the Lamborghini Miura was, honestly, or how it has said, Lamborghini Miura. It's honestly a great looking car from that era. And just because it's a little old, still will outrun anything newer than, well, anything newer from today's market. But I'm gonna be honest, chat, it looks alright, in my opinion. I'm not really a big fan of classics, but honestly, for what it is, it looks pretty nice. I'm not even gonna lie. Let's keep on watching.
That was revolutionary, but so was the Miura's design, its styling. It looked insane back in the 1960s, and frankly, it still looks insane today. And crazy styling has been a hallmark of the supercar ever since. Now, interestingly, collector and enthusiast interest didn't really gravitate towards this car until the last 10 or 20 years, but since then, they've steadily been rising in value, and some examples of top dollar Miuras have sold for over $4 million. And today, I'm going to show you what it's all about. First, I'll take you on a thorough tour of the Miura and show you all of its interesting quirks and features. Then I'll get it out on the road and drive it, and then I'll give it a Doug score. All right, I'm going to start the quirks and features of the Miura with getting in, where there is a wonderful quirk. Now you can see behind the window and in front of the engine there is an air intake here, which is pretty common on most mid-engine cars, and there are some strakes in this air intake to prevent like large items from flying up and getting into the engine. The bottom strake is actually the door handle, which is a really cool integration of that. You just push on this little button that has the lock on it and then pull on the door handle and the door opens right up, and that allowed them to basically hide the door handles on the outside of the car. You don't have some ugly thing protruding from the center of the door because they hid it within the strakes in the air intake. But the other cool thing about the doors when they are open is that the entire intake opens with them, and so the top of the door kind of curves up, and that way if you have both doors open at once they look like horns, bull horns in fact, which fit the theme of Lamborghini. The logo was a bull. A lot of the cars were named after bulls or...
Alright, Chad. Honestly, this is a neat quirk. In my opinion, I love it. I don't know about you guys, but I think that this kind of fits the whole Lamborghini theme. The bullhorn. Yeah, it's pretty nice, honestly. I love it, and honestly, in my opinion, Lambo just cooked with this one. Yes, by the way, it's a $3 million car, so it's like, that's actually crazy, in my opinion, but, you know what, let's keep on watching.
bull-related items, and so it only made sense for the doors to look like a bull's horns when they were open. Pretty cool. But anyway, next up, we open up the door, and one of the interesting things you'll see when you open the door is that on the door sill, you have the word Bertoni printed along with that company's logo. That was the designer of this car, Marcello Gandini at Bertoni created it, and I always found it strange they didn't put Lamborghini on the door sill, but instead the designer. You also have another Bertoni logo and plaque, like on the side of the car, right behind the doors, on both sides. So they were really selling the whole Bertoni thing to make sure that everybody knew that was the designer. Kind of strange to see it there twice so prominently. But anyway, next we climb inside the Miura, where there are many, many quirks and features, as you might imagine. Let's start with a basic one, the seats. There's actually nothing too weird about the seats. They're just sort of simple, basic bucket seats that you found in a lot of Italian sports cars from this era. They're pretty standard, but you will notice the headrest is not attached to the seats. Instead, it's attached to this panel behind the seats between the engine compartment and the passenger compartment. And strange, you can just remove the headrest. It has a little metal insert that goes into this panel, and you can pull it out if you want to and just drive without it. Or you can stick it basically anywhere you want, including like in the middle of the panel. Wherever you want to put the headrest, that's where it goes. Kind of an interesting thing, seeing the headrest detached from the seats in that manner. So in this area, sort of between the seats and the back, you have these two vents mounted here. What exactly are those? Those are your climate vents, believe it or not. This car doesn't have air conditioning. It was an option in Miura S models, but this one doesn't have it. However, if you open up these vents, fresh air will come into the cabin through here. These vents mounted basically behind you rather than on the dashboard facing you like every other car climate vents you'll ever see. There were also some vents mounted in the footwell, you can see here, and they had the same purpose. If you opened them up, fresh air could come into the cabin while you were moving only, of course. and then kind of cool you down on a hot day while you were driving along. Those were your climate vents, and again, none anywhere on the dashboard in the usual climate vent spot for this car. And speaking of climate control quirks, if you wanted heat, you had this little lever in the driver footwell over on the right side. You would pull that, and then like a flap would open and allow heat from the engine to be kind of pushed through the climate vents in order to heat the cabin on a cold day. If you push this lever in the other direction, the flap would close, and then the engine heat wouldn't get into the cabin in theory, and that was your entire heater in this car. There was no like fan speed button. You couldn't really direct where the airflow went. You couldn't do any of that stuff. You just had one piece of climate control, which was the lever for heat. And then also, I guess, opening the vents for fresh air. That was the extent of the climate control in this Miura. And oh, does the insanity continue from there. Next, let's go to the gauges. Two large gauges facing directly the driver. On the left, you have the speedometer, and you can see it goes up to 320 kilometers per hour, which translates to 200 miles per hour. But the Miura couldn't go that fast. No cars in its time really could. This topped out between 160 and 180 miles an hour, depending on which version of the Miura that you had. Now, to me, more interesting is the tachometer, which you can see revs all the way to 10,000 RPM, which would have been amazing in its era, and there's no red line on here, so you just kind of had to know where to shift. There was no red line indicating the best the engine could do. You just had to figure it out. Lamborghini figured the kind of people buying this car could have. Now, also in this vicinity and very interesting is the steering wheel. This old school Italian wheel with little holes on the spokes, very charming, very period, and you have a Lamborghini logo in the middle. And not just a logo, it's actually like a 3D medallion with the bull. It isn't just sort of a decal or some plastic piece printed on there, but it looks weighty and cool and exciting, like you'd expect from the center of your Miura's steering wheel, frankly. Now, that piece isn't the horn. Instead, like so many cars from this era, the horn is accessed by pressing in at the end of the turn signal stalk. You push in and the horn sounds, and it sounds ridiculous. Take a listen to the Miura's horn. Now, in the middle of all this, you will see there is one unlabeled, like, warning light between the two gauge cluster pods, and that would be your turn signal indicator. If you put the turn signal on, that would start blinking to correspond to your turn signals. It wouldn't tell you which one was on, but it would tell you that one was on, although it was rather subtle, and the turn signal stalk doesn't cancel when you go around a corner, so you really had to kind of remember to look at that thing to see that your turn signals were on. Also, funny about this car, there are no hazard lights. There's no switch for them. It was not government mandated at the time, so this car doesn't have it, although for the Miura, it probably would have been nice to have hazard lights, but it doesn't. But anyway, next up, speaking of unlabeled warning lights, we turn our attention to the center stack in this car, where you have 5 separate warning lights in different colors along the bottom, none of which are actually labeled at all. The owner told me the one on the right in green is a warning light for the fuel pump. The one on the left in red is a warning light for the ignition. One of the middle warning lights is for the radiator fan to let you know that it is on, and otherwise the owner said he doesn't remember what the other two do. Obviously they're not tremendously important, and none of them are labeled. You can't really figure out exactly which is which unless you know what you're doing. And unlabeled stuff in this interior is kind of the story of the Miura, because you have 6 different switches on the ceiling next to the rear view mirror, all of which look the exact same size, and they're all unlabeled. The owner told me these switches have various functions. Some do nothing. One turns on the radiator fan, and most of them are various different lights, like your parking lights, your fog lights, and also your headlights. You can use this switch here to turn on the headlights in the Lamborghini Miura. But even once you've turned on the headlights, you are not done turning on the headlights. You see, the Miura has pop-up headlights. It was kind of an unusual thing at the time, and when you turn on the headlights, they don't pop up. Instead, you have to pop up the headlights using this unlabeled switch here, located next to the gear lever. If you push that switch, then the headlights pop up, and then they are illuminating the road in front of you. So turning on the headlights in this car was a two-step process if you wanted them to be actually useful. You first turn them on, and then you pop them up. Otherwise, the headlights were just pointing up at the sky, not really doing anything to show you what was ahead. But anyway, since we're now in this center console area with that headlight popper switch, let's go over the quirks and features in here, starting with the wipers. This is where your wiper control is, and you can see you press it down for the washer fluid to come onto the windshield, and otherwise there are 3 settings.
Alright, chat. So, here's the thing. If I owned this car, yeah, I wouldn't know what the fuck those buttons do. I would just literally press them random way and hope it doesn't eject me from the seat. Like that movie. Like, you know in the cartoons when you just get ejected from the seat? Yes, chat, that is what I mean. But, no, on a serious note though, it's a pretty nice car, and yes, I am always on mute due to just honestly watching the video and stuff, and for the quality to be better, so, yeah, chat, I'm so sorry if I'm always so quiet. I'm just kind of enjoying the content, so yeah, hope you guys are enjoying as well. So yeah, this stream probably is gonna be the first stream on my channel because the other one is kind of trash. So it's like, yeah, it wouldn't pay off, and honestly, it's not really something I want to do, but it's fine. Anyway, chat, this is literally I'm not gonna be live for too long though, cause I have work, and honestly, I have private work. I know I said I have free time, chat, but I do have private work, so it's kind of why I'll just wrap it up real quick. But we have time, chat, so we can kind of watch it for a while and hope for the best. Cause yeah, let's continue watching, chat. Let's continue watching.
H, N, and P. I'm not exactly sure what those are, but I would figure it's high, normal, and then maybe periodic, which is like intermittent wipers. Not entirely sure, but that was your wiper control. Now here you also have a grab handle over on the passenger side, which you could use to hold on for dear life while you were being driven around in the Miura. It was a scary experience back in the day. Now also in this center console, you can see there is a storage compartment here, and it has a little lock on it. You can obviously lock or unlock that like you would with a glove box in a normal car, but when you lift it up, you can see it's not particularly deep. In fact, it is quite shallow. You don't have a lot of room here because the shifter linkage goes directly under this little storage area. So you do have a little space, but not a huge space for storage in here. Now, also in this center console, you can see the power window switches here, very helpfully pointing. The one on the left has an arrow pointing to the left. The one on the right has an arrow pointing to the right. Even though they're installed in left and right positions, Lamborghini thought it was necessary to put arrows letting you know which window they controlled. Not really all that rational, but that's what they did. Now, power windows were not on the original Miura models. This is a later Miura S, which did get power windows, and so that's why this car has them. The other thing you will see in the center console is, of course, the gear selector. This is a gated 5-speed manual transmission. Looks very cool, and it is very cool. At the top of the shifter, you have the Lamborghini Bull pointed towards the driver, so you can see that every time you shift. No need for a shift pattern on top of the gear lever when you can have a bull. Now, you'll notice that the bottom right part of this gated gear lever area has a little switch on it. That is a gear lockout area that prevents you from accidentally shifting into reverse while you're driving along. So you don't accidentally go from 5th and think there's a 6th gear and put it into reverse and really screw everything up. In order to bypass that, you have to actually push the switch down manually, and then you can stick the gear lever into that slot for reverse, and pushing that switch out of the way kind of confirms you know that you'll be going into reverse gear. But anyway, next up we move up from this center console into this center gauge area, and you can see 6 different gauges in here which show various items you'd want to see, like water temperature, oil pressure, all the usual stuff. You got a fuel gauge in here. You also have a clock, which the owner tells me keeps time beautifully. which frankly is kind of a surprise for a vehicle like this. And you have this gauge in the lower center. The icon looks like a San Francisco cable car. That is your battery voltage gauge, and it obviously shows your battery voltage. But those are your center gauges in the Miura's center stack. Now, over on the passenger side of the dashboard, you can see there is a glove box of sorts. It doesn't open, it doesn't lock. In fact, it's just sort of a hole in here, but you do have some storage that you can put in this hole if you don't mind it rolling around or possibly coming out, some extra storage in the interior. Now, speaking of the passenger side of this interior where I'm sitting, there is one interesting item over on the passenger side in the footwell where you have this. This is a footrest for the passenger, and it can be moved, but I guess the intent there is the passenger has something to put their feet on to make their experience a little bit more comfortable. Kind of an odd thing to see in a car like this, but it's there. Also worth pointing out is the door panel. You can see very beautiful, but not very practical. No storage compartment in there. You have a very small door handle to pull to get out of the car, but other than that, nothing particularly quirky or interesting with the door panel, but that's how it looks in case you are curious about the door panel in a Lamborghini Miura. And next up, another interesting item in this interior, on the center of the ceiling, you have this little panel here with like a switch, and you can move it forward or backward. The owner told me that's to get air out of the interior. I don't know if it's for air equalization, like when you shut the doors to equalize the pressure, or to just get air flowing in the interior, but regardless, it can open or close for, I guess, air circulation of some variety. Kind of an interesting item up there. Now, one other interesting item worth pointing out is visibility in this car, especially visibility looking backward. You can see there's a pretty large rear view mirror here, which is nice. Of course, it's in the normal spot, but when you look, you're looking back through louvers instead of just like a traditional rear window or rear glass. So maybe wondering, well, what exactly is going on back there? Well, to figure that out, we got to go back there. So let's go. So I'm outside, and getting into this rear compartment, opening up this rear panel, is actually easier than you might think. Easier than it probably should be, frankly. The release latch is in the driver's door jamb by the seat back. You can see it here. Basically, you pull out a pin holding it in place, and then you just lift up on this handle, and that releases this rear clam to the point where I have it right now. And from there, all you got to do is just lift it up. It's kind of heavy, but not that heavy. Easy enough for one person to do it. And of course, you're terrified when you are doing it because you're worried it's gonna like scrape the ground and you're gonna damage something. But it doesn't do that. It has like guide wires that keep it from doing so. And then you have the rear clam in this position. It's opened up and you can see the engine. So let's talk about the engine in the Lamborghini Miura, because this is maybe the coolest thing about this entire car. Mid-engine V12. And as I said earlier, that was a huge deal in the 1960s. There had been mid-engine race cars before the Miura came out, but most automakers producing sports cars were convinced that mid-engine was too dangerous to put in the hands of a non-professional driver. And so nobody really tried it for a road car until the Miura. And frankly, Lamborghini was the perfect brand to give it a try. They were still relatively new on the scene. They had only started making sports cars in the early 1960s, a few years before the Miura came out. And Lamborghini had a team.
This is actually interesting because, bro, I'm gonna be honest, this is actually interesting because Lamborghini is the first car brand to make a mid-engine car. Usually, as Doug said, usually all the car makers at that time were scared to put in, I'm sorry about that, Chad. I have hiccups. To put in a mid-engine, like in this type of configuration. So they kind of just were too scared until Lambo just said, you know what, hold my beer. And this is what happened. But yes, Chad, this is kind of the best looking car so far. I mean, for what it is, it looks amazing. And honestly, here's the thing: Motorfest does have this car in particular, the Lamborghini Miura, but it's too expensive, and I don't really want to make money to buy it. But we'll see, chat. We'll see what goes on, and just kind of see what I can do. Because I don't know, I'll probably not buy it, but... Oh, yeah. I feel tired, chat, I'm sorry. Had a long day, but yeah. Might actually see. So, you know what? Let's continue watching, chat. Let's continue watching this fun video, and I might actually end the stream, because again, I feel tired, chat, and honestly, had a lot of work, honestly, so it's like, yeah, we're gonna see to kind of hopefully tomorrow start a bit just a longer stream, chat. But for now, let's finish up this video and wrap the stream up, because I have us to edit a lot of stuff, so that's why I kind of would need my phone. So yeah, chat, we might actually continue with this series for a while and see what happens, you know. Let's keep on watching.
Of younger engineers, designers, vehicle creators who had racing backgrounds, and they really wanted to give this a shot. Lamborghini had a lot less to lose than established brands like Ferrari and Maserati, and so in a sense they just went for it. Jason Camisa has an amazing video about how this car came to be, which I will link in the description below if you want more info on the backstory of the Lamborghini Miura. But that's sort of the basic gist of it. Young team wanted to try something new, and the owner of Lamborghini, Ferruccio Lamborghini, gave them the go-ahead, and so they did it. But doing it was a little bit of a problem, because the engine is rather large, and the Miura is not a very large vehicle, and it wouldn't fit. So they turned it 90 degrees, and this V12 is mounted sideways, which is exceptionally strange back then and still now. Lamborghini's team borrowed this packaging idea from the original Mini, of all places. A tiny little cheap city car gave inspiration to the Lamborghini Miura. But indeed, that is the case, and that's how they were able to package this massive V12 in such a small space. Now, frankly, when you look at this car from the outside, it really is an incredible feat that there's an engine here, because you can see the passenger compartment and you can see where the tire is, and it doesn't look like there's room for anything, let alone a V12. But they managed to squeeze it in brilliantly by twisting it on its side, and it really is a marvel, especially back then. But not all of the engineering decisions they made for this car were good ones. One of the more questionable decisions was that the transmission oil and the engine oil went into the same reservoir and circulated between the two, and that meant that if you were like grinding your gears and metal shavings came off in your transmission, they could end up in the engine, which obviously you don't want. Later Miura models had them separated, which is how it always should have been. But again, it was a young team kind of winging it without a huge budget, and so there were some questionable decisions like that that ended up on production Miuras. But let's get back to those louvers for a second. I mentioned that you have to look through the louvers when you're sitting in the interior to see out. I want to talk about why they did that. Originally, Lamborghini wanted to put glass over the engine cover because they thought it would look cool. And it would have, except that the glass kept fogging up in test cars, and they couldn't figure out a way to make it work properly. So they came up with the idea of louvers. There's open space between the louvers, which allows heat to dissipate from the engine, which is what the car needed from a functional perspective. And of course, the louvers keep stuff from getting inside the engine compartment, which was obviously important, also from a functional perspective. And because the louvers were mounted flat, when you looked through your rearview mirror, you could see behind you. You saw a little bit of the flat line of the louver, but mostly you just saw out the back, which was a cool idea. Now, louvers like this became very common on exotic cars after the Miura, but before the Miura, nobody had really used it. It was tremendously innovative, and in fact, several different vehicles that came later added louvers even though they weren't mid-engine cars, just because they looked cool. People wanted this look that the Miura actually had for a functional purpose. But anyway, there is still far more to cover around the back of the Miura in the way of quirks and features, including probably my favorite thing about this entire clamshell, and that would be that the exhaust tips move with the clamshell. You can see the exhaust tips where you are. If I lift up the clamshell, you can see the exhaust tips are actually moving back with it, so they go backwards, upwards as you move the clamshell. And frankly, there was really no other way to do it. If you wanted the clamshell to move all the way out, the exhaust had to go. But obviously that presented a problem, because then the exhausts weren't really snug around the outlets for them, the muffler, but that was just what they did. They kind of generally line up with the holes in the muffler where the exhaust would come out, and they don't necessarily line up snugly or perfectly, and that was just Miura life. You could get away with stuff like that back then. But anyway, other quirks and features around back. One is obviously the Miura logo, which has become a complete icon. You can see the M has horns just like a bull, which is so cool, and the A has a tail just like a bull, which is so cool, and this badge is really one of the all-time coolest automotive badges ever, and every car enthusiast knows about the Miura badge and its horns and tail. Now, the other interesting thing about the rear clamshell is it contains a trunk, a cargo area. In order to access it, you press this little keyhole pop out, and then it pops open, and you can lift up this panel, revealing the trunk. There it is. There's your trunk in your Miura. Now, this panel doesn't stay up unless you put in place this little prop to hold the panel, which was actually pretty common in Lamborghini trunks from this era, a prop to keep it in place. But once you have the prop there, you can see it's actually pretty decent cargo room in the back of the Miura. You have good space back here, which is kind of a surprise. But before you go thinking that this car is practical, keep in mind that your cargo space was mounted on your rear clamshell. So if you opened up the clam to get access to the engine, all of your stuff would fall backwards 90 degrees. So it wasn't actually exceptionally practical if you had anything breakable or important back here and you needed to get to the engine. But anyway, other quirks and features around back. One, these taillights, which are the same taillights from the Fiat 850 Spider. Even the iconic, amazing Lamborghini Miura shared some parts with cheaper cars. So the next time you make fun of my Ford GT for its Ford Focus turn signal stalk, remember, the Miura has Fiat taillights. Now, another item worth noting back here, you will note, and I have said earlier in this video, that this is a Miura S. That means that it's sort of the middle Miura in the Miura's progression as it was being produced. The original Miura was called simply the Miura. The S came out and added some benefits that the original Miuras were lacking, like power windows, as I mentioned, and available air conditioning, and a larger cargo area, and purportedly a little bit more power, among some other improvements that were also made. Now, at the end of the Miura's production run, they came out with the Miura SV, which is really the one to get, the very best version of all, which added even more improvements, including to the driving experience, and once again, even a little extra power. And the SV models are the most highly regarded Miuras today. Not that this is anything to laugh at. Now, there were also some other like one-off weird production Miuras. For instance, they made one Miura Roadster, and there were some other rare high-performance versions, but basically you had the Miura, the S, and the SV. Total production was about 750 units, and production ran from 1966 through 1973, at which point the Miura was replaced by the original Lamborghini Countach, which carried the torch as Lamborghini's mid-engine supercar. But anyway, I've shown you enough of the rear of the Miura, so let's talk about the front. We already talked about the headlights and how they pop up, but there is oh so much more interesting than that to discuss about the front, starting with the mirrors. No Miura model was sold new with rear view mirrors. They didn't have them. It was up to the owners to add them, which obviously most of them did. And so when you see Miuras running around with mirrors, they were an aftermarket thing. Obviously a lot of dealers installed them when you bought the car in the period, but they weren't original. So this car obviously has aftermarket mirrors, but it's probably a nice safety benefit. More interesting than the mirrors, though, are these little vents at the front part of the hood. You can see the right vent, pretty standard, fixed in place, allows heat to dissipate from the front, I guess. But the left vent looks a little different. It has this little cutout, and that's because you can open it. You can lift open this vent. It's hinged, and it swings forward and gives you access to the fuel cap. And this is how how you put fuel in a Lamborghini Miura. Not through some fuel door on the side in a panel like basically every other car. Instead, it went through this vent after you opened it. You'd fill it up with fuel. Very interesting, very clever, and frankly, I never knew that about the Miura until right now. But anyway, since we're talking about the front, let's do it. Let's open up the front clamshell, this giant front compartment. Just like the rear one, there's a little latch in the interior. This time, it's under the dashboard to the left of the steering wheel. You pull on that latch, and it pops open the front clamshell to this point. Then, you just lift it up, and it comes up. And once again, you are absolutely terrified that the nose of the car is going to hit the ground and scrape it and damage the paint. But once again, you have a wire keeping it in place, although it still terrifies me. And then there you go. You got the front clamshell up in the Miura. Not particularly difficult to do. This one even lighter than the one in the back. Now, when you're up here, you can see a multitude of different interesting things, including some stuff. This isn't a cargo compartment. Lamborghini put some important items up here, including the battery, as you can see, and also the radiator is up here, and the fuel tank. That's this silver thing mounted here. All of these items are up front in order to get some extra weight in the front of the car, because the Miura's problem, having the engine in the middle and the back half of the car, was that the front end would therefore be pretty light. And there are a lot of reports of driving these cars at high speeds, you'd start to really lose steering feel because the front end felt so light that it was really terrifying getting this car up above 120, 130 miles an hour with how light the front was. So to mitigate that, Lamborghini tried to put as much stuff as they could up front, although it didn't completely solve the problem. Now, one other item that is supposed to be up front but isn't present in this car right now is the spare tire. That would be mounted directly above the fuel tank. You can see this is the spot where it would go. One very interesting thing about the spare tire mounting in the Miura is the dashboard is actually designed to accommodate the spare tire. You look into the windshield and you can see the design of the dashboard actually has these two little arcs in it, which is where the spare tire would sit if it was under the front compartment. Most of it's under the compartment, but some of it goes into those arcs in the dashboard. So the next time you're at some crazy car event and a Miura shows up, look into the dashboard, you'll see those arcs, and you'll know it was designed that way not to look cool, but to fit the spare tire. Kind of quirky. But anyway, since we're opening up the exterior panels in this car, let's do it. Here they are, both of them opened up, and you can see it's pretty crazy when they're both open like this. You are removing so much of the bodywork of this car that it's practically unrecognizable what it is when these two panels are lifted out of place and stuck open like this. It is crazy to see this much of the car open. But it's also very, very cool. Obviously, this was before the era that said you couldn't open panels that had headlights or taillights on them for safety reasons. They didn't have to adhere to any of that stuff when they were creating this car, and so everything opens up, front and rear, when you're trying to access stuff in this car. But anyway, since I'm on the outside of the Miura, let's just talk design, because this car looks
Alright, chat. I think I will probably cut the live stream short over here, because I have a little bit of work to do, guys, so sorry about that, but we're gonna have to cut the stream short. So yeah, chat, we're gonna continue this series probably tomorrow, so sorry about that, chat, but we just have to cut it short. But thank you guys for watching, and yeah, appreciate for following, and just in general appreciate the support. So thank you guys for following, thank you guys for actually coming through the live stream. So big shout out to the community that is kind of forming. So yeah, see you guys next time. Peace.